Hey there, today I'm doing a tutorial on the index match combination functions in Excel. So I don't know if you've heard of them, but index will basically, let's open it up, return a value or reference of a cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. So what exactly does this mean? Well, first of all, in the items, I'm going to actually use a data validation list to generate what items I have available to use for my index match. So what I'm going to do here is go to data validation. I'm going to go allow a list, and the source is going to be down here. Now this is a unique item list, so this is fine to do. So I haven't got any repeating values, otherwise it would be a little bit of an issue, but this is fine. So we're going to OK that, and now you see we've got a drop down of potential items we can have from our shop, let's say. So let's say we want a tie, right? So now we want to figure out the price of the tie. Well, we can look at the table and see straight away that it's £17.95, but it would be nice if we had a formula to do this, right? Now this is where index match comes in. So if we open up index, and now the array is basically the whole table of data that we're looking at. So this is our table of data, C3 to E9. Now I like to give it an absolute reference, press the F4 key or add your dollar symbols, however you want to do it. So, because I know the table's fixed, that I've fixed my formulas so it correlates to the fixed table. Now the row number now, this is where we use match. Now match will basically return a number. It returns the relative position of an item in an array, that matches a specified value in a specified order. So what that means is when we look up the value, let's say tie, H4 is that? Yep. And we're going to look in the item array, because obviously the tie resides in the items, not the price or the stock. So we're going to lock that again, and the match type, I like to use exact matching, which is false or zero. I like to use false, but zero is exactly the same. So now we've said we're looking at this table here, the whole table. We're looking at the first column to match tie, and this will give us a number, and that number will actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's looking at the fifth row in our table, but now we need to give it a column. So let's go match again, and we're going to look at the value price this time. So yeah, we've got price to look at, and I'm actually going to give this, so I want to be able to change the column when I drag it across. So yeah, there we go. So I'm going to give it a relative column, but an absolute row. So that's the reference I've used. You can cycle through all the references with F4. And then we're going to look up the array. We're going to look in the header array. And I'm going to fix this again because headers are fixed. And give it a false. And close that. So we see we've returned £17.95. So what if we change it to tuxedo? £185. Yes, that's right. Good. So we can see that this formula works. Jeans, £43.29. Yeah, we're looking good. Okay. So if I drag this across now, I'm hoping that it will give me the stock, so this should give me 10 if I formulated it right. Yes, I have, that's good. I'm just going to change the format of it, because you don't want pounds as stock. So yeah, we've got the stock formula generated, the price formula generated, and the items we've got on a drop-down list, so I could easily just change to dress. And then you see it's $69.99 and there's 4 of them. So this is particularly powerful when you have a massive table with hundreds of rows and maybe even hundreds of columns. That would be a big table, but they do exist. And then if you wanted to find one specific item and you didn't want to scroll all the way down sort of to the 1000th row to find it, you can just type it in here and do an index match and then get whichever header you want by putting in, the parameter here in the match, what lookup value you're going for. So now I just want to quickly cover what happens if you have 2 lots of the same item in a table. Let's say you got socks twice. So if we look at socks, we're going to get £17.95 in 3 of them, which looks correct, but then there's also one for £3.95 and 18. So, maybe we'll try the second drop down of socks. No, it's still the same. So basically, when you use match, it will pick up the first case of it. So I'm saying look at socks in this column. It's going to pick up the first match of it and give that number. So that's always going to be this one. So you're always going to get this as the row, and then whichever column you specify will give you the rest of the data. so you're not actually going to be able to access this. I will cover this in a later tutorial on how to get the env index match, but for now, this is basically how index match works, so hopefully you guys have learnt from them. So yeah, thank you for watching.